Maybe.
And they didn't have time to reshoot, and they're like, at the end of the day, it's not a fatal flaw. It's just something where
They realized that they had flipped the van right onto its wheels,
Fuck
but it was too late.
Good enough. Cut, wrap, print. Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, that's just indicative of this whole series, though.
It's a little
It is
Ed Wood,
a problem across the board, and I
Yeah.
don't know why they don't fix it.
It's not because of lack of money.
A little bit more effort.
I honestly think it's just because no one, why did Breaking Bad get made? Because Vince Gilligan had a vision for this story, and he wanted it told his way, and he surrounded himself with people that he respected, admired. You can say that about Mad Men. You can say that about Boardwalk Empire. You can say that about a lot of different shows. You can't say that about. This was Frank Darabont's deal. Him and Kirkman hated each other apparently, and he got booted, and then they just had this like journeyman janitor type showrunner, and then Gimple was like the most talented dude in the writer room, so they gave it to him, probably because it also saved him a shit ton of money, and because Kirkman and him got along real well together.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that's most passionate about this material is Robert Kirkman himself, and he's kind of an asshole who's never done anything with television. So like
that's a big problem.
Who is the person jumping in front of the budget and be like, no, we have to reshoot this. This is shit. This didn't work out. Nobody. I don't think there's anybody.
Yeah, you might be
like
right.
Nicotero's passionate, but not about this shit. He's passionate about the zombie stuff.
Sure.
So
yeah, it's just unfortunate because like these things don't need to be in there, and it takes me out of it. I mean, you can make a case that none of this stuff actually matters in the larger picture, and I would mostly agree with you. But at the same time, the lack of attention to detail is a problem.
No, and it's something that like it doesn't seem like it's hard to do.
When you realize like that they have people going over scripts and saying we have an exterior, we need to shoot at this time of day. People are planning these things,
but people shoot day for night all the time. It seems like it'd be like a color filter. You could make a couple of those scenes work as dusk.
Yeah, if they had maybe, I don't know, underexposed the Rick stuff at the gate a little bit.
I don't know exactly, but it seems like there's a way to fix that after the fact that they didn't bother to do.
Maybe.
And, again, Walking Dead...
Or maybe they thought they had done a good enough job with it.
Well, the other thing is, like,
that.
I've been thinking, we've been saying Walking Dead is better. And I'm not sure if it's better.
Walking Dead is better.
We've been saying The Walking Dead in the last few episodes
has been getting better.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's gotten better. It's just they're dealing with material that we're personally interested in.
Maybe so. Yeah.
It's still the same problems, but it's like, my theory of you've got a certain amount of disbelief you can suspend. Once it touches ground, the Katie barred a door. Now the spell is broken. You just see all the bullshit. Yeah. We're having to suspend our disbelief less. Mm-hmm. So we're more positive about the thing, and we care more about the characters and situations are being portrayed. But it's still sloppy. Yeah. It's loosey-goosey and sloppy, and nobody really cares to tighten it up.
Indeed. Anyway, let's talk about Glenn and Nicholas. I mean, we kind of already did, but I have to mention that there's a scene where he beats him senseless. Glenn beats Nicholas senseless, and he barely restrains himself from killing Nicholas, much like Sasha barely restrains herself from killing Gabriel.
I don't know if Sasha even barely restrained. I mean...
Yeah, Maggie might have saved the day there.
Yeah. I'm not willing to write that off.
Sure. And then he drags him back to town. Can we talk about how fucking long Nicholas is out in these woods as well? If night is falling, you are in the woods alone. What are you doing? What are you doing, Nicholas? He's out there roaming around in the woods for hours on end.
Well, I mean, I think this all happens over the course of like 15, 20 minutes, which makes the night stuff even more hard to believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he's trapped. Once he shot Glenn in the shoulder, he's got to find and kill Glenn.
Wait near the gate. Wait near the gate. Glenn has to come back, right?
If only he was a Machiavellian mastermind, he could set a long-range plan like that into motion.
Sure, you would think so.
If only we saw some film evidence of that.
Anyway, there are two other threads going on here. One is Rick, which we'll talk about in a second, but the other one is the wolves coming back to their trap, killing the red poncho guy and resetting it. With music and lights. I didn't look up the song. Did you look up the song?
I did not. I couldn't even get,
You could probably Shazam it or something.
Nah, Shazam didn't work.
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was like the siren going off and the like doors opening. It wasn't a very clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very clear signal.
Shazam failed us for the first time ever. All right. What do you think of them resetting this trap? Does that give us any indication as to what purpose this serves for them?
I have no
Is
idea.
it just
what
a
purpose
trap?
this serves
Is it
them.
headquarters? Does it indicate that there are more of them?
I don't know. It's honestly just it what I'm taking away is that this place has got to be more than these two guys.
Okay.
Because it's showing a level of sophistication and organization that I don't think these two gentlemen could pull off. So that's all I can really say for sure. I don't know why they would be setting these traps. Like, I'm mystified by why they shove a whole bunch of corpses into the back of a camper truck and don't do anything with it. Like, I don't know why they're doing this, and they seem kind of psychotic. So
are they the ones who've been crashing cars in the woods? They must be, right?
I guess. But again, like, I there might be no reason. They could just be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got. There's no question they're insane. They've carved W's on their heads.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're insane. Yeah.
Some charismatic cult leader has ensnared them, and they're a bunch of ne'er-do-wells wishing that they were back having conversations with baristas in Starbucks. That's insane of its own. You know?
It feels like this is a pretty good place to set a trap, though. Right outside a food storage.
Sure. No,
facility.
It's a giant, permanently baited rat trap.
Yeah.
To what end? I have no idea.
I don't know. Find more wolves. Let's talk about Rick. Rick is sprinting for miles and miles around this town that is presumably enormous. I don't know why he doesn't call out to someone, why he doesn't run into someone.
Doesn't he discharge his weapon at one point?
I think he shoots a walker. Yeah, and another walker comes out. Maybe he uses a knife. I can't remember exactly.
I thought, and I think it might be because I was having a discussion with someone in feedback about that. But
no, he does shoot. He does shoot a walker.
So there you go. That gunshot would have been heard within the city limits of Alexandria. I guarantee.
Assuming this is not a massive complex,
dude.
Like,
you can hear a gunshot from a mile away.
That's what I mean.
Literal mile away.
That's what I mean. Like, how big is this place?
I don't know.
Because if we go by what's on the screen, Rick can sprint for a long ass time. He can fire his weapon, and nobody is the wiser.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Does this place have the potential to be 15 miles, like 15 square miles?
So that begs the question of
how do they protect it? How do they build that wall around it?
Like, well, I mean, they slow expanded. That's not. But this meeting has about 24 people in it. Is this some kind of ruling council, or is this literally every citizen that's of voting age? Because the children are we know that children are left behind.
Sure,
but still, like, Rick's group is half as large as all these guys. So it can't be Miles, because if that's the case, then why are they forcing to bunk up with other people that they're not related to?
Yeah, when they don't have the housing.
Why did they put
them?
Pete across the street from the wife he's been beating?
The scale of this place doesn't make sense.
Well,
honestly.
we have a deep dive in feedback for that.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rick chases down this walker, who in the end finds him. He kills him. He drags the corpse back to the campfire, tosses it down, says, hey, we fucked up, people. Pete comes out of the shadows, cuts Reg's throat open, and Deanna gives Rick permission to kill him. He does, and Morgan sees it. Bad news, I think, for Rick and Morgan's relationship in the future, especially when he is covered in gore while he's doing it. And this is a really good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Rick turns to execute Pete, and it just lingers on him and his bloody face and his barely visible eyes.
It was something like I might have been shot straight out of the comic book, because him with the way he's lit from underneath, his eyes just look like empty skull sockets.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is, and it's very something like out of The Godfather.
I believe maybe someone should come up to him and say, "We are them, they are us." I don't know.
You don't want to start that shit again.
No, I really
Derek
don't.
come flying off scene with Morgan. hey,
that's bullshit. Yeah, Rick decided here that he's not going to kill them. They're going to change, and he delivers a dictatorship-esque speech here that tells them that.
Mm-hmm. Dictatorship 2.0.
Yeah.
Slightly less dictatory.
There's a scene after the credits. I don't know how many people know this.
I didn't until today.
Yeah, I watched it this morning. It's nothing super crazy. It's basically Michonne going to put her sword away, but instead, the last moment she decides, I'm going to sheath it and put it on my back. And, we've been talking about that for a while now. She's been told to do as much, and she finally does.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a scene of the undead red poncho guy walking around through the yard of the food warehouse. The camera pans over to a car where we see Wolves Not Far painted on it.
Right.
So obviously connecting Richmond with this place.
Sure.
I don't think we really needed that spelled out.
No,
but sure.
It shows, well, Richmond is 100 miles away. Now we're 50 miles away. Now the other things he kind of skipped over is him rummaging through and seeing all the shots of Alexandria. You wonder if he's got a map, maybe? Like, what else is in that bag?
Who?
The wolf. The wolf, they show us
not after the credits.
Not after credits, but
okay.
You're after the credits, so we're at the end of the episode. I presume you just skipped this stuff.
Oh, yeah. That
Tara woke up. There's some other things happened.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Gabriel whines a bunch about his own sins and how he almost killed the whole town.
That was all included in the Sasha stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
But I just didn't mention all of it.
All right.
Sure.
But I thought it was interesting how they're doing this. Rick's speech of like the dead and the bad people are out there and they're always going to get in because we're the good people and they want what we've got and they'll try to use us, and they're talking about all this kind of fairly militaristic stuff against the backdrops of these images of mercy of Sasha and Maggie holding hands with Gabriel and singing Kumbaya, of Glenn dragging Dickless's sorry ass back to Alexandria.
Sure.
And then they frame it ultimately with Morgan's shocked reaction to seeing Rick as the executioner.
Yeah.
All good stuff that I hope they visit.
They will. I mean, there's no way they can't address the Morgan thing, at the very least. I think now that the whole group knows about what Gabriel said, they have to address that in some way.
Sure.
You can't just have Maggie come back and say, no, it's cool, guys. We talked with him.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Maggie and Sasha can sit that close to an active dumpster fire. You would think it would just be uncomfortably hot.
You would think so. Poor Reg. He didn't deserve what he got.
No, he didn't. Trying to interject, trying to
voice of reason, as he always is.
Be the evolved caveman that he is.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to be a nomad.
Nope. No, he's an undead evolved caveman. That's it. That's it for the episode. This was an hour and a half episode. It was an extra long one, so we took our time with the recap.
Our sweet ass time.
Yep.
So this is the last time I've got kind of everybody together to make this pitch. I just want to let you guys
gather
know,
around the campfire. We're going to talk about something.
We are. I'm about to flop a big zombie on top of this for a barbecue. That is club.baldmove.com. You can go there and get the detailed pitch and see what's in it for you. But the bottom line is, for as low as $1 a month, you can get a lot of extra premium features. Like you can watch us record our podcast live. We do a little weekly dog and pony show called Lunch with Jim and Aaron, where we get in front of the cameras and we just talk about whatever. Sometimes we talk about television or movies. Sometimes we talk about video games. Sometimes we talk about business stuff behind the scenes with Bald Move. We have our Q&A app going, so at any time you can chime in and have a back and forth with us. And it's a lot of fun. We did live watches this year, which were, we got some technical problems here and there, but overall, I thought were pretty entertaining. But most importantly, it's how we get our support. I mean, it's nice when we get sponsorships from Audible, but honestly, you guys using our affiliate links and Club Bald Move is what enables us to do all the podcasting we've done. And we're kind of winding up our silly season. We're starting Mad Men and Game of Thrones, but
a couple more weeks of it. But
if you've enjoyed any of the stuff we've done, again, we can't do it without your guys' direct support. We're independent podcasters. We're not owned by any company. There's nobody looking out over our shoulder. We just rely on the kindness of strangers, and we try to, $1 a month. That's literally as low as we can do something and pay for the credit card fees. So we try to make it. We're not being greedy. We're not trying to soak you. We want everybody to have access to this as much as possible, and we want to be able to eat. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So for you that have become a club member, I thank you so much. We've gotten such a huge response, and we're so proud that we've been able to build this thing with your guys' help. And for those that have kind of been on the fence, hope you can go to club.baldmove.com, take a look at what we offer, and see if it's worth your money. We try very hard to make sure that it is. And again, thanks in advance for your support. Had a lot of fun this season. Can't wait for October to come around so we can get back to it.
Yeah, and I think, as we kind of move forward into a less busy season, we're also going to be doing more like premium, just kind of one-off videos.
Yeah, we got a lot of ideas of things
podcasts,
to do.
Yeah. So if you're interested in hearing, other stuff that may not be like specifically related to a show, that's a good way to do it. And you'll be able to see all those things on the website as they come up and check those out.
Sure. Let's get to feedback. Dan from Manchester says, you mentioned the point on whether or not there would be a wolf in sheep's clothing within the walls of Alexandria on the last podcast, and said the only person you could suspect of that was Dickolas. Well, I think there could be one more, Enid. It's a long shot, but what if her mother wasn't actually dead and she's one of the ones who got exiled and she's been sneaking out to relay information to her?
Ooh. Could be.
We had a couple people submit this theory. Dan here from Manchester was the first, but also I snuck Brian E. because he expanded on the theory.
So here's my question, though.
Well, let's get the expansion, and then we'll consider your question. In episode 12, this is support of the Enid as a wolf in sheep's clothes theory. Remember, Carl and Carol are checking out one of the houses given to the group. When Carl clears the attic and takes a look around, he finds a comic book. On the back of the comic, it reads Wolf Fight. And I know later in the same episode, Carl hands this same comic to Enid. Again, it shows Wolf Fight on the cover. To further my belief in episode 15, Try, Enid and Carl are running through the woods together. She brings up about belonging in the woods and running free or something like that. Kind of like being a wolf free in the woods. What is your question? Because them intentionally saying it was two guys and one girl, Enid kind of having this haunted look and this mysterious past with their mother. I'm not saying it's definite, but the wolf fight seems...
And her sneaking out, I mean, that seems to make sense. But
it seems to kind of be the brand of foreshadowing that The Walking Dead does.
I'm struggling with the circumstances under which she doesn't leave with her mother. Like, if her mother is banished, I would be surprised if she didn't put up a fight to take her daughter with her, and if Enid wouldn't just want to go with her.
Well, but maybe if her see, that's the thing, is like, did the wolves start? We don't know. Like, is this Davidson guy a crazy guy who caused a bunch of problems in the community and was exiled because he's a violent jackass weirdo? Or was he kind of like Rick and Carol and Daryl up against this group? Because in that circumstance, I could see like a person like Carol who has, like, say, her daughter, even though I could see her wanting her to stay at Alexandria. Like, you need to stay here, you'll be safer here. That doesn't fit with the psychopath leader of the wolves, which
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see whether they've evolved to that, whether they tried to start this thing as... That'd be another interesting thing if they tried to start this kind of wolf community and then it got, they had a couple crazy people invade them and take it over, and now it's become this weird wolf cult.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely possible. It's just...
Like, that's the dark side of Rick's philosophy. If everything is might makes right and we have to protect everybody, then someone within takes that to the next logical conclusion, and now you're in fear for your own... I mean, there's a lot of interesting ways they could go with post-apocalyptic human society.
Yeah.
But no, strong theories. Dan, Brian, and everybody else that sent that in. Brian from Jupiter, Florida, which makes me wonder if he actually lives in Jupiter, Florida, or if this is just an elaborate American Horror Story reference. Either way, the freak has this to say. One thing that was bothering me is the scale of Alexandria. I want to see Rick and find the gate open. It's still light out. By the time it flashes to the town meeting, it's night. Where was the meeting? How far away from the gate was it? Is Rick unable to simply call out and warn everyone about a potential breach? Why can't the people at the meeting hear the gunshot from Rick? It seems that the scale is off in this town. This town would be pretty big for Rick not to be able to find the walkers immediately. But realistically, how big could it be if Reg built a wall all the way around it? I was always under the impression that Alexandria was like the size of a gated community. Maybe not, though.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
the gunshot. This specifically is a problem.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
That's a huge problem. It's saying that Alexandria is very, very big. But I also don't see how it could be with this many people in it.
It seems like they could have solved that too. Like, they hear a gunshot and everybody's like, "Oh!" And Dan's like, "People, we got to keep calm." You know, like maybe dispatch Tobin or one of the other dumb fucks go look for Rick, and then the next scene, Rick, it's like, "Yeah, I evaded Tobin, and look at what I found." Kabam! Like, it would even be better. And that's not.
I don't know, man.
How does that make it out of the writing room, man? Well, we've
I
harped on this long enough.
Yeah. I just wonder how much they're concerned with like showing the scale of Alexandria. Probably not at all.
Also, I just wonder if...
But there are things they're doing that show contradictory scales.
I can also see Nicotero, like, if I asked him this, he'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Why do you care? Why?"
Like, do you see Rick squeeze the zombie juice right in his mouth? Wasn't that so fucking cool? Like, they might be operating on a level completely, we're still stuck in a Darabont age. They all hated the Darabont age, and they like doing what they're doing. It's entirely possible we're just on the fringe of what this appropriate audience is for this show. Like, we're wanting stuff that no one else cares about.
You're probably right. And it's strange because I'm a huge fan of just the gore fest zombie movies.
And that's why they this isn't Z Nation. They're wanting to have it both ways, Sunshine. You can't do that.
Exactly. The gore fest zombie movies don't pretend to have some morality or some point to them beyond just being gore fests. This show is doing that, and therefore it's very confusing.
It'd been pretty funny. I think they've kind of tried to do this in years past with The Walking Dead and Mad Men. Like, what a weird lead-in that is to that show.
Sure.
But it'd be weird if they took all of the brutality from Mad Men. Like, dude getting his leg ran over by the lawnmower, Lane getting I mean, like, there's a couple of, like, 15 seconds worth of shocking, bloody scenes you could do to, like, make people think that Mad Men is, like, some kind of crazy show. And then you get a whole hour of an office meeting where people are drinking and smoking.
And you put a synth track behind it, and it's... people are just going to tune in and be, what the fuck is this?
Let Bear McCreary go at the soundtrack just once.
Yep.
Double A Ron T has a couple problems with the episode. Some we've talked about, some we haven't. Number one, Morgan is suddenly a ninja with Donatello's staff skills. Number two,
he's had a lot of time to practice.
Daryl and Aaron lose Red Poncho, but as we find out, the wolves seem to find him easily enough. Also, I thought they were hot on the wolves' trail after finding the corpse tied to a tree. What the fuck is going on with Daryl? You're right. Daryl mentioned that they are not far from the wolves, that this is all recent and fresh with the woman True Detective strung up style. The Red Poncho, I'm guessing, is that the wolves actually kidnapped him. That's why they don't find him. And the wolves must be, for psychotic dumb fucks, pretty good at... fuck this. I'm not going to explain. Let's move on to point number 3.
Okay.
Maggie told nobody about Father Gabriel. She hides pertinent info almost as good as she hides her feelings about her siblings.
Oh, wow.
But seriously, what is the point of showing Maggie overhearing Gabe and Deanna? What decent writer would keep that in a script if nothing was to come of it?
Yeah, good point.
Point the 4th. Aiden asked Father Gabriel to close the gates. Why? Whether Gabriel doesn't properly close them out of incompetence or because he was in a state of insanity doesn't matter. It was such an obvious, and lazy plot writing device. It's just terrible. Point the 6th. Pete slicing Reg's neck.
Who's the fucking gate guard here?
Right?
Is it Gabriel or is it you?
Right.
You close the gate.
Pete slicing Rex's neck with Michonne's sword. Just reread that sentence. No explanation needed. We didn't talk about this in the recap. Do you think that was a deliberate slice? I thought that was a drunken...
It was I don't realize how long this sword is kind of shove.
Yeah, and also it cuts with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know how ninja swords work.
Exactly. It's a guy who is wielding a weapon he has no business wielding,
Sure.
and probably drunk at the same time.
I mean, that might seem ridiculous that a man doesn't know how a ninja sword works, but don't ever forget, Insane Clown Posse doesn't know how maggots work. Some things that people get in life you just miss.
Yep.
Andrew E. said, on a season 5 MVP, Carol, no questions. She's invisible. She's coached Rick through this whole ordeal, has manipulated events to end with Rick seemingly in charge and the death of his wife beater. She's come out of it smelling like roses, the roses on her sweater.
I wish we could have a death of another wife beater. Abraham.
Alleged.
No, he's fucking wearing it.
Oh! The actual wife beater he's wearing, not
the shirt.
We speculated him abusing his spouse.
Sure.
Okay. This is all on top of blowing up Terminus and being hit by a car. She's taken on some real Garak-esque qualities. Both have been exiled, and she's ruling this shit. Deep Space Nine reference, always going to hit with me. The worst...
I thought you meant Gareth.
No, Garak.
Okay, all right.
I pronounced his name really weird, but Garak. Elam Garak. The worst, still Dawn, though we never saw Pete do any surgery, and Maggie's only character trait seems to be not saying things she probably should. It's still Dawn. The season opened and closed with the throat slitting. Significant?
I'm gonna say no.
I think that Gimple does like to bookend things, and opening up with two.
But significant in what way?
They're both. So Terminus was the one kind of place, and Alexander is the other, and yet you still have an unjust, kind of horrific throat slitting in both places.
Okay.
I think there's some significance to that. I don't
I'll
know
allow
what, especially since it's the first scene you see and almost the last, other than the Morgan flash forward, right? That happened at the beginning of the season, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's very symmetrical. I think it's kind of, I don't think
All right.
it's
I
pointless.
don't know that there's anything thematic
I think he's trying to be arty.
that he's trying to say anything. Yeah, it's just I'm trying to do something interesting visually and I don't know, psychologically.
Andrew E. continues, I think this is the first time the show's taken a moment to breathe in almost 2 years. Ever since people started getting sick at the prison, the group's had constant upheaval. The governor came back for no reason. They reconvened at a cannibal colony, Slaptown, etc. It's been a real shower of shit. So I'm happy for the show to wrap up a few storylines and establish an 80s and Arcro death cult for the next season. Yeah, That's a good face to put on it.
Yeah, this season shaped up to be pretty good, and they set up next season nicely.
Jill G wrote in the instant cast for Conquer, you asked Jim if he's ready for Morgan to be 1/4 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I thought this was hilarious because Lenny James said on The Talking Dead that his trainer for the Bow Staff was one of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay.
Presumably Donatello.
Yep.
Matt E. I wrote in a few weeks ago saying how perhaps the least believable part of The Walking Dead was the sheer number of walkers. I was wrong. The hardest part of the show to believe is the show keeps making us wait while we keep letting it. Why the fuck do we simply forgive this bullshit over and over? Wolves not far my ass, they're 7 months away. Morgan appears in the codas of both premieres this season and then gets lazily dropped in the finale. He doesn't actually do anything except for knock out two assholes, prove that there weren't that many walkers around the car in the first place if he could hit one right next to the window with no trouble. None of the Alexandrians face any consequences except the one that attacks Rick with the sword in front of everyone and kills Reg. This is the highest fucking rated show on TV. He also says, P.S. Was I the only one who almost expected Aaron to introduce himself, Daryl, and his other brother Daryl? No, you were not. I was almost ready to make that joke on the live watch, and Jim distracted me with something.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess I just don't see it the same way.
Well,
I don't have a problem with Morgan coming back in this fashion.
I see the trajectory of the show going up. And I get it if your suspension of disbelief is such that you are still seeing it as, because again, I'm open to the theory that this show hasn't gotten any better. It's just the core material I'm more interested in.
Yeah, and maybe we've stopped caring so much about it being a great show that we give it the benefit of the doubt a lot.
Yeah, we've buried Darabont.
We still complain and nitpick, but at the same time, we don't think it's going to be the final word on television greatness.
Yeah, I mean, the worst of worlds is it's an average show that's not funny to recap. That would be a death knell for us.
Oh, yeah.
Danny says, looks like The Walking Dead answered your question from the last episode. Can you have someone in your group who has a vital role yet are completely unstable and unwilling to be changed? The resounding answer is no. As a doctor, he saved lives, but his idiotic slicing of the architect's neck could end up costing more lives than he saved. Unstable people bring chaos. It's simple. I agree.
There's something comical to me about the least offensive person in this group being taken out by some random act of violence. An accident, actually.
Well, I think it's interesting because Deanna was perfectly willing to let that person be Jessie and her kids.
Sure. But when it's her husband.
And it's her husband, and now it's like, this is what Rick, this was his prophecy. If it gets worse, she's going to die. Well, now it's Reg instead of her.
Sure. We talked about, making how this has become personal for her.
Yeah.
I just think it's humorous that the guy who least deserves it gets it. That's a
He
sick...
did put the supports on the outside of the wall.
Fair enough, yep.
I wonder how the dictatorship will play out. Morgan clearly feels all life is precious, even the lives of those whose group motto is to kill everything, which makes me think Morgan isn't thinking all too clearly. Deanna finally realized what Rick meant. You can't be making compromises for unstable people who aren't willing to work with the group for the greater good. I think the beginning of season 6 will surely be the dictatorship featuring Deanna versus Morgan and his free love movement. It'd be interesting to put Rick in between those two. Like, Deanna's all drinking the Kool-Aid, and he's like, well, you know.
Changed my mind.
It makes me wish all these people, Alexandria and Morgan, were there for the Terminus scene. By killing Gareth, Rick probably saved a bunch of people Gareth and his cannibal buddies would have encountered in the future. Sometimes I don't understand why people don't get it. I think that's a good point, though. You almost have to go through Rick's life experience to get the balance that he's got.
There's a world of shit out there that you people don't know shit about.
He's tempered steel. Yeah. He knows those fine shit grains.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Abraham nails it.
It's
in
hilarious.
the way that only Abraham can. I mean, he's laying down solid,
slightly drunken, maybe a few beers he should have had way, but yeah.
Exactly.
He's very eloquent.
Yeah.
Jeremiah T. I have to start off by pointing out a few noticeable mistakes in this episode. My mother-in-law manages a trucking company, and she's the one that picked up on this right away. During Daryl and Aaron in the fenced-in compound scene, the two recruiters approached the back of the couple of semi-trailers. All's good at first. I thought Daryl noticed something was awry when he looked at the latch of the first trailer, but then he walks over and opens the second trailer, and the trap is set. The area floods with walkers. I still kind of question how so many walkers got up on the trailers and to the front and the sides so quickly, but I'm going to blame that on TV show magic. The problem is the final scene of the compound when the two wolves are regrouping the walkers into the trailers. The trailers are then facing the opposite way, with the back facing out towards the open lot. I have to rewatch to make sure, but did the trailers magically switch positions? I don't think they did. I think that they were always kind of staggered that way, with the back sides with some ramps. But here's the crucial part. Mm-hmm. There's no way to park a trailer with the back facing out. Think about it. You need a semi to pull a trailer. If the semi pulls into the spot, you would still have the semi at the front, which wasn't. So how the fuck did they get the trailer in that position?
They would need like a crane or an earth mover or something. Yeah.
You know, pallet jack. Maybe they pallet jacked.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Those two little support things that you
Tiny
can like crank
hydraulics.
down.
Mm-hmm.
They got two pallet jacks and just lashed a team of zombies to it and whipped them to get it to go.
Sure.
So anyway, he says, not to mention if facing this direction, how exactly would they then be able to move it later, which I assume is the plan moving forward. That is a good point, and I don't have any explanation other than they don't really care about things at that detail.
Yeah. What do you think about the idea?
And to be fair, I missed that shit. Like if it wasn't for your mom running a trucker company,
that's the thing, right?
Like gotten away scot-free.
I don't give them so much shit when things like, oh, well, they're not electric engineers, and these writers aren't architects, and like, yeah, we give them shit about the bars being on the outside, but ultimately that was correct for their purposes. Ish, yeah. Stuff where you have to have very specific knowledge, to understand why this isn't a good idea or doesn't plain work.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that day doesn't turn to fucking night immediately, right? You have eyes? Great. You know that.
Yeah, sure.
It's stuff like that that really gets me. Like, I mean, that's a good point, though, with the truck not being able to detach from the trailer at that angle.
Anyway, he has a couple other points. Jeremiah says, I absolutely love seeing Morgan back in the fold. I actually really liked him having the all life is important change his attitude since the last we saw him. I think this is supposed to make us question how, during the agonizing months of the off-season, he's going to react to watching Rick execute someone. I do think that this would be the best way... Wait. I do think that this would be best tied up in the beginning of the next season with a brief explanation by Rick as to why this had to be done. Although it makes me wonder if they brought Morgan in to be an expendable group member early in next season with the impending attack by the Wolves. I'm still not sure what to think about the Wolves group or of the partner if there's only two left of them. I don't know if they're exiled Alexandrians or just some savage outsider group. I think the explanation by Aaron of the one guy being so intelligent as opposed to make us realize that they are the exiles and they are smart enough to create this walker bomb with the semi-trailers.
Yeah, I thought so
That's
too.
the crux, right?
That's what I thought too, which is why I thought that these people were kind of on their own and had somehow lost the female from the group along the way, and that's what they were trying to say. But I'm not certain about that.
Yeah, he didn't talk about them like they're batshit crazy, and these people are batshit crazy.
Well, I guess you could go batshit crazy after the fact.
Certainly. Well,
being cast out into the woods.
I mean, that's another interesting thing. Michonne said you can be out here too long. Well, they were forced to be out here.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call bullshit on that evolution. So
Yeah.
nothing would surprise me or kind of disappoint me at this point with the wolves. I think they're doing good, which means they're doing pretty good work with them.
What do you think of the idea?
Other than their fucking trailer alignment. God damn.
What do you think of the idea of them taking those trailers, ramming down the gates, and opening a Walker flood?
It's a little Death Star 2 for me.
Yeah, it's a little Governor with a tank.
Yeah.
But
like this
I could
trap,
see that
I don't
happening.
know what the hell it's about.
Yeah.
But this trap was enough different from that made me not.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just smashing through gates with a truck and unleashing zombies is a little too Death Star 2 for me.
But I wouldn't rule it out
Well,
that
sure.
this show would go back to that well.
Star Wars original trilogy is one of my holies. So, like, having said that, clearly I could be okay with a Death Star 2.
Sure. Yeah.
It just needs to be not fully constructed. There needs to be missing
Yes.
pieces of the truck.
And you think it's not operational.
But then at the end, the wolf says, be prepared to face, okay, etc. Everyone's seen Star Wars.
I think so.
If not, Jesus Christ, go watch it now. Justin D, regarding Maggie's utility, he has some theories. Why show her listening on the steps if she doesn't tell anyone from the group about Father Gabriel? I mean, not even her husband. They had a moment when the two were talking and all Glenn had to say was, so what should she do about the Father Gabriel thing? Useless. She went to talk to as many Alexanders as she could before the meeting, but none of them came to Rick's defense. Useless. She has a meeting with Deanna to sway her opinion, but makes no headway in 2 minutes, so she just storms off. Useless. Can't really argue. I'm not a big Maggie fan. Not sure if people have noticed, but Glenn, Maggie, and they could have. I thought they were going with an interesting Maggie redemption arc, but instead I hate her more. Like,
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Her getting the drop on Father Gabriel, that was an interesting interpersonal dynamic. Like, you know, walking in a room and someone's talking about you. That's interesting in a high school sense of the word. This has got some stakes behind it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do more with her being a part of this government in the future,
couldn't
especially
possibly
now
do
that Reg
less.
is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They couldn't.
And Deanna's probably going to be feeling pretty like a jackass about it, so maybe she'll invest
Probably.
Maggie with entirely too much power. I don't know.
Ah, okay.
Maybe Maggie is going to be the power mad Rictator
Could
that
be.
everyone thinks Carol is. Jazz W said, I want to point out some symbolism in the after credit scene with Michonne almost hanging up her katana, which I missed all this in first watch. I'm studying world's religions, and I just finished the Hinduism and Buddhism. Is it Buddhism or Buddhism? Buddhism.
Yeah.
Buddhism section. So I noticed right away that with the wheel with the spokes on the wall behind her resembles a Buddhist symbol, the Dharma chakra.
Yeah, no, it was used a lot on Lost. Very familiar with that symbol.
If we see it on a shark tail, then we'll know it means nothing at all. That'll be the key.
Sure, but it might mark a hatch, so check around the area.
You got your hatch. Anyway, this is also called the Dharma Wheel. This wheel and the spokes in a wheel represent a noble eightfold path to enlightenment in Buddhism, but it's based primarily or originally on the Hinduism concept of samsara, the wheel of birth and rebirth connected with reincarnation. First, you can see the link between Michonne's continual transition, first as a normal person pre-Zompocalypse, then becoming a samurai, and eventually going very dark, then her long road back with the group into almost normalcy here in Alexandria when she hung up her sword. But now she decides she needs to move back and around the wheel to carry her katana once again. Outsiders often look at the concept of reincarnation in Hinduism as some great thing, but in reality, the wheel of samsara continually grinding around and around as part of the world-denying negative side of Hinduism. It gets wearisome to return lifetime after lifetime to this world of difficulty and pain. Tell me about it. I'm halfway through my first life and fucking over it. Have to come back again as something worse than I am? Jesus Christ. I'm just saying I have no knowledge of it. I'm assuming that I'm one of those like freshly minted souls.
Oh, okay.
So big.
You're
assumption on
also
my
assuming
part.
that you fucked up so bad in this life, you're going to be worse in the next one. Which,
well, I'm no Father
fine.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly no Morgan either. So anyway, yes, it gets wearisome to return lifetime after lifetime. It's a world of difficulty, pain, the wheel turning in place and never getting anywhere. So Hindus are always seeking moksha or enlightenment, a way to jump off the wheel of samsara and be at peace. I wonder if a version of this thought process is what Michonne is thinking about when she puts the sword back over her head. This has got to be deliberate on their part. I mean,
yeah, I imagine
having her, the cycle continuing of her and putting down and having the Hindu Dharma wheel in the background. Is it just kind of like a Villigan-esque nod to this theme and just kind of like subconsciously making you think of these things? Or is there something we can glean about Michonne's future arc from this?
Man, it's hard for me to really interpret where Michonne's at.
Theorize, Mr. Data.
I mean, I know she's been, through most of this season, this half season anyway, being told to keep the sword on her back. I feel like it's almost a continuation of the cycle rather than her jumping off of it.
Oh, I think that's what Jazz is saying too.
Oh, okay. I thought she was saying she was getting to samsara or whatever that point is.
No, I think it's more like the wearisome.
Okay.
Cycle.
Then I guess I agree.
Okay. Anything else, or should we move on?
Nope.
Barry C said, "No, you guys have enjoyed this second half season as perhaps the best one ever for The Walking Dead. But what about the whole season? Was it the best 6 episodes ever? 16 episodes ever? Surely it was, right? Episode 1, you had Carol, Rambo, and Terminus. Was, in my opinion, the best episode ever. I know you're not loving the end to the Terminus arc, but if you look at it from a non-comic reader's perspective, it was pretty solid. The only major slow point was the Beth-only episodes and the time jumps. But the Carol and Daryl episode with that and the half-season finale was also pretty decent. Then the entire second half season was been very steady and engaging. So I'll score... I think you had 1 excellent episode and 3 good ones in the pre-half, and then you had 4 just really stupid, shitty Slabtown episodes. And then I think you had 5 really good episodes, 2 decent one, and 1 stinker in this one. So yeah, I feel like... So here's the thing. Season 3 was kind of shaping up to be awesome. There was some annoying stuff with Andrea and all this other bullshit, but we were all settled in for a finale where the governor...
The finale just took all the wind out of the sails.
I can't even be rational about that season because all I can think of is what a horrible, wrong-headed decision it was to stretch this storyline out. And honestly, that was a fatal blow for the next season because for whatever reason, Gimple decided he had to address that in a 3-episode standalone arc of the goddamn governor. So there you go, 3 episodes right away, thrown away.
Sure. The series of
which was
episodes that begin
episodes.
with I were all pretty good in my opinion.
Yep.
And some of the stronger stuff that this show's ever done. That governor arc is not great, and
with the season premiere and the ending of a consistently good note, I kind of feel like yes, it's got to be the strongest of the 16 episode seasons.
Probably so, and it's really tough to judge season 1 against these 16 episode seasons because it's only 6 episodes.
6 episodes, and I said that this might be, if they nailed the finale, go down as a better 6 episode stretch than even the first season. I don't know because I don't feel like they nailed the finale.
Yeah, and honestly, I liked the CDC a lot better than I think certainly Kirkman, but than a lot of people did.
No, I thought the CDC was a good episode. I'm shocked that Kirkman thinks that's his biggest regret.
Sure, I like season 1 overall probably better because it's a tighter package.
Yeah, and it's it nails the feel that this show.
It has Vatos. It has like some
Vatos is bullshit.
Some bullshit episodes. But far fewer of them because of the nature of 6 episode season versus 16.
Plus, some of the stuff that is old hat now is fresh. Like
Absolutely.
monologues about how the world is and how it's changed and all that stuff was kind of still interesting.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Hard to say. He moves on. Said some of the highs have been higher, but as we know, the lows have been much lower in previous seasons. Do you agree and think that maybe, just maybe, The Walking Dead has started to find a formula for what works consistently? I'll say yeah, and I'll even, I've had this theory of generosity towards Gimple that, like, if you took out the governor arc, that's not a bad season, and he didn't make the decision to stretch the governor into another season. So
Sure.
if you look at some of these decisions as him fixing mistakes made in the Mazera era, now you can debate about whether he's smart to go about the way he did or whether he could have done it faster than he did. But at this point, yeah, I feel like they've, in these last 6 episodes, found a consistent voice and a location and a point in the zombie story that's interesting and I want to know more about. And I'm actually very, very much looking forward to next season.
Yeah, I agree.
He says, while I'm here, how high has Abraham's stock risen in these last few episodes? The mother dick scene, coupled with what are fast becoming Abraham's speeches and quotes, is, in my opinion, quickly moving him up to status of fan favorite alongside Rick, Michonne, Carol, and Daryl. He now also seems to have a surrogate family, Rosita the wife, Eugene and Fistbump as his children, all of whom are becoming likable in small doses.
Yeah.
Can't agree more.
They've done
Abraham
some really
has been
good
a delight.
things. And it's not just Abraham, right? They've turned around a lot of bad characters. Characters who I did not look forward to seeing on screen. I still don't think I would want like a Tara Eugene focused episode, but at the same time, I don't hate them every time they're on screen.
They could certainly carry a B plot, and they have.
Absolutely, yeah.
They have. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, do I want a Slab Town featuring Eugene? God, no. God, no.
No, it's admirable the way they've brought them around. And for a show that didn't in past years necessarily do characterization all that well.
Yeah. Here's the one thing that is annoying to me, and this isn't a comic book spoiler because it's already happened, but in the comic book, Eugene's act was an act. Like, he played up everything about himself to be more annoying and stupid and all that as part of his cover, and once that was blown, he kind of let that go.
Okay.
So in this stage of the story, you still see him as a shit heel and he's a liar and all that stuff, but a lot of the annoying personal persona things, in my remembrance, kind of go away. And it's interesting that they're having him keep up this foghorn leghorn act post lie reveal.
I feel like that might be a side effect of how much the fans liked him. And how
did the fans like him, or they'd like
the internet? Well, okay, the internet likes him, just because he is. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why they like him, but it seemed to me like they enjoyed watching basically a meme generator.
I just don't know that I can. They've played him as just kind of straight up like he's got some kind of emotional development problem. And he's got some, he's on the spectrum of a lot of different things. And it feels like it'd be hard to connect with him as a real character. But then again, like, I thought they did a good job with Sonya on the bridge. There's been other characters that have overcome that kind of stuff and be a fully 3-dimensional character. So I don't know, but it's not something I'm worried about going forward. But hell, he could die in the season premiere and then we don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
Mike from North Wales. I was a little disappointed with the naivety shown by Daryl walking into the hunter trap, given that we were supposed to believe that he's an alpha survivalist hunter tracker. The group has not, to my recollection, come across such bounty as 3 untouched trailers of food, so I would have expected him to be skeptical of this set piece, rather than just walking right into it, particularly as the shot showed the cans clinking together. Fairly obviously, it seemed to be part of the mechanism to open trap trailers. Mm-hmm. Totally agree. I feel like we've covered that sufficiently. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Dion C. from Washington, D.C. Fans of the show have been expecting Daryl Dixon's death for quite some time, and I have to say, I don't know if that's a lot of people. That's us. Like,
I think that's you. I don't know that we have been repping that.
Whoa! Yeah, I had to do that a lot in feedback. People are like, you guys said, I'm like, whoa. Like, you're always talking about Rick biting this guy's nose off. He ripped his throat out, man.
All right, yeah.
And Yeah.
I just have this vision of Chris Farley talking about having his nose bitten off from Dirty Work. Well, I can't get that out of my head with Rick because
at first I thought you got confused with this season of Banshee where someone does get a nose bit off.
Maybe that was it too.
But you don't watch Banshee, so
well, you showed me that scene specifically.
That was
right?
another throat rip.
Oh, another throat rip.
I think you can't tell noses and throats apart.
You're absolutely right. They're both breathing mechanisms,
what visual
right?
problem you have in your brain, I don't know. But like, do you see a throat here? Is my beard in the middle of my face? Do I have a nose coming out from my ass? Do you think an Adam's apple is a nose?
Oh, it's not.
You don't breathe through that? Let's see here. Anyway, so let's go with the theory that many fans have been postulating that Daryl Dixon will die sometime soon. After a season of increasingly gruesome on-screen deaths of regular cast members, the Walking Dead writers really surprised me by killing Daryl Dixon off-screen and replacing him with a totally new character who looks just like him but does not share any of the traits associated with Daryl. I wondered why a man whose job relies on stealth would pick a mode of transportation loud enough to attract walkers and open enough to provide no protection from them. Odd, yes, but not uncommon for Daryl.
Well, that's definitely in Daryl's character. Let's make no bones about that.
Indeed. He was a bit concerned when the world-class tracker couldn't keep track of a guy wearing a goddamn bright red poncho maybe 50 yards away. Something was clearly wrong when quote-unquote Daryl failed to notice the obvious tin cans hanging around the trailers when he just opened the cargo area without even knocking and listening first.
Mm-hmm.
I regained a bit of hope when Daryl used a chain whip to take out 3 undead a la Simon Belmont, but watching him sitting in that car with Aaron, double Aaron, just resigned me to his fate like there was a final scene. Sorry, I fucked this completely up. But watching him sitting in that car with Aaron, just resigned to his fate, like this was the final scene of Thelma and Louise, completely sealed the deal for me. Daryl Dixon was indeed dead. And just to throw flowers on his grave, the writers decided against having Daryl suggest they lie in wait for a few hours to catch or spot whomever sets this trap in order to assess their numbers and what threat they might pose. No, instead, Daryl invites a guy who only just met back to his new home without inquiring how he got the map, who he hopes to meet in Washington, D.C., and his answers to the 3 questions. And Kirkman's best remix yet, Daryl Dixon was killed off, and most of the world hasn't even noticed. The only good news about doing it this way is that we're spared the in-memory montage on the Talking Dead and the awful puns that they close those with.
Nice.
Compelling theory.
Sure, I like it.
Daryl has been body snatched. It's the only thing that makes sense.
It's a Daryl ganger.
I thought he's got wharfed, but I think body snatched is the more appropriate terminology. William I. Daryl and Aaron are stuck in the car. They brought up the idea of blocking the windows, but the show seemed to abandon that pretty quickly for some reason. I wonder if that might actually work.
Well, I think so. I think the reason that they abandoned this is because of the
bad
note.
People.
Yeah,
I totally.
And they
agree.
said we got to get the fuck out of here. There are bad people coming. But then when the people show up in the form of Morgan, they don't even question it. So what the fuck do I know?
He says, I wonder if that might actually work. Take the floor mats, cut up the seat covers, any other fabric in cabin, and block off visibility, and just be silent to eliminate any noise. I'm thinking within a day or two, the walkers would lose focus of why they're there or get distracted and move away. Do you guys think that a walker, if they can't see or hear their prey anymore, will continue to keep going forever?
No, I think they would probably lose interest.
I think that would be a cool bottle episode, like in the future.
Now,
what I think is interesting about this show, as I've mentioned in my survival guides and elsewhere, is anytime characters get on the other side of a glass partition of zombies, they fucking can't help themselves. They just parade their juicy asses around like so much ham underneath a deli case.
Yeah, Andrea and Rick in the store in season 1.
One of the most infamous examples.
Uh-huh.
But like Gareth camping outside of this school where he knows like any day that window's going to break and we're going to be fucked. Like, or you could put up a sheet over there so they can't see you and they're walkers. Something will happen. Something shiny will blow past and
squirrel
they'll
will go
it.
by. Well,
squirrel.
No, there are no squirrels in these woods anymore.
You don't think so? Oh yeah, Daryl Dixon.
Yeah.
50 square mile. Just like a plague of locusts. Anyway, I think that'd be a cool idea for a bottle episode.
Yeah.
Like they're stuck in a car and they've got nothing better to do, so they just roll up the windows, put some stuff over
Eugene and Abraham,
and they have
bottle
it's
episode.
a race to the like how hot is it outside? How much water do they have? At what point?
It's 4 days out.
Yeah,
it's 4 days out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
only no robots to come save the day.
Sure.
Shum, one of my rating buddies from Destiny, wrote in, which, by the way, I've got like 100 new friends now. I've played with like 16 of them.
I played with 0 because I'm on PS fucking 3.
If
Apparently nobody's using that anymore. Come on.
you want to get in on that, go to destiny.baldmove.com, or we've got our friend tags. Send a friendship request that says something about Bald Move in it. And also, if I'm running around with an empty fire team, join up. Actually, join the party, because as I've been doing that of late, I've been creating a voice chat party. Because I actually get a notification. I had like Shum join me like halfway through a mission. I had no idea he was there. I was just fucking killing dudes and all stressed out. And then I noticed like, oh, I know this guy. So yeah. Anyway, this has nothing to do about Destiny, so we'll get back on point.
Okay.
Shum wrote us a poem. He wrote a haiku a couple seasons ago. Now he's got a poem
I
dedicated
read this. There's a factual
to
error
Dickless.
in his poem,
Uh-oh.
but other than that, it's good.
Well, we'll see what the editor, Jim Jones, thinks at the end of it. Upon watching Aiden dispensing sweet biscuits, I thought, what a dick. They should give him some swift kicks. Then, lo, what is this? A sibling named Nick? He proved
That's
there are worse
the factual
things
error.
than being a dick.
It's not his sibling.
Well, you brothers
Sorry.
in arms.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Brothers and shit weasels.
Uh-huh.
Things may have been different had he not lived so rickless, but alas, he's a bitch and has earned the name Dickless. His cowardly ways killed both Noah and Aiden. I mean, who really cares? But Glenn should have flayed him. But wait, it gets worse. When he got back, he lied. He said it was Glenn's fault that Aiden had died. And just when I thought my anger had peaked, he shot Glenn and wished he'd become some Game of Thrones spoiler that rhymes with meek. Like Lori and other spoiler, and Michael from Lost, the bitch has to die no matter the cost. Though Glenn didn't shoot, he'll die one of these times, cause the town is now run by a man named Rick Grimes.
Very nice.
I have a
Very
tear.
nice.
A tear formed in my eyes.
I love
Beautiful,
it.
Shum. Beautiful. The Reverend Lonnie was waiting for this.
Ah, yes.
Comes back out, spitting fire, spitting heat, spitting hellfire, you might say.
Okay.
Where do I even begin with that douchebag they call Father Gabriel? Of course he went for his weird whimper walk. Of course he left the damn gate open. Of course he's rubbing salt in Sasha's wounds because he's the worst priest ever. Again,
Okay.
I don't know if he's talking about post-Reformation.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what we're talking about here, but he's in the running.
Yeah.
But I must say that something profoundly beautiful did happen this episode, and I have to give the writers credit where it is due. We all know Gabriel's not built for this world. He's a coward and a traitor, and there's no room for that kind of Judas bullshit in the world of The Walking Dead. If people are going to survive, justice has to be swift, and being a liability usually means you get put to death fast. At the climax of this episode, we see this dynamic writ large. Glenn is poised to kill Dickless, who deserves to die. Sasha is poised to kill Gabriel, who deserves to die. But in a moment of utter humanity, what Glenn, Sasha, and Maggie render is not justice, but something higher and riskier, mercy. Mercy and perhaps beginnings of forgiveness, at least in the case of Sasha, Maggie, and Gabriel. Do Dickless and Gabriel deserve mercy or forgiveness? Hell no. But that's what makes it beautiful. No one ever deserves forgiveness or mercy. But by offering it, Glenn, Maggie, and Sasha preserve and redeem not only their own humanity, perhaps even the humanity of Dickless and Gabriel too.
It's very civilized.
You justify that with the final scene, or juxtapose that with the final scene between Rick, Pete, Reg, and Deanna. Here, justice is executed swiftly, and by contrast, it feels barbaric. Rick looking up to see Zen Master Morgan reminded me of the end of The Lord of the Flies when the boys, in all their barbarity, look up and see the naval officer and begin weeping at the loss of theirs. Of all of our people, Rick is the furthest out there in terms of barbarity. Ooh, I would argue Carol, which is going to make for some interesting television come next season. Don't get me wrong, I still hate Father Gabriel, but the writers did a beautiful job grappling with these themes. Forgiveness, mercy, and compassion are rare in a zombie apocalypse, but just like in our world, they're very threads that keep our humanity human.
I agree. And those are the things that Gabriel should be showing as a priest. I think those are the tools at your disposal, correct?
Yeah, sure. It's interesting that he is the recipient of them. But
Sure.
this is all very Judeo-Christian, too. The concept of undeserved kindness and mercy and forgiveness. And, you know, you can't by your works, you cannot get into the kingdom of God. I mean, they're doing a lot of these, Campbellian types of archetypes and stuff.
Yeah, no,
They're swinging for the dramatic fences.
Sure. I also think, that is a more civilized approach to it as well. I mean, Deanna is all about civilization and making sure that the society runs in a way that is not cruel or wild, I guess, as like a pre-spaghetti Daryl might deal out justice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of it too, right? They're in this civilized society. They can't just go off and kill people. The thing they need to do is show justice and mercy and things of that nature.
Yeah, I agree. P.S. Sorry for writing so late. It's Holy Week, my busiest week of the year. I hope you feel special for writing you instead of working on sermons. Father, nothing could make me more smugly satisfied than the idea of corrupting a priest from his duties. I have got such an evil boner right now.
Oh,
Not even kidding.
Awesome.
That's it for regular feedback. We got a bunch more in the spoiler section. If you would not like to hear comic spoilers based on speculation for next week, please tune off now. Otherwise, get ready for our wrap-up week.
Yeah.
If you want to get in on that, some additional thoughts about the overall season, where it stacks up, thoughts on predictions for next season. Love to hear the spoiler predictions about where they're going with the plot next. You can send that in to watchingdead@baldmove.com.
It's my last opportunity for spoilers for a while. Because I'm not getting them on Game of Thrones and I'm not getting them on Mad Men. That's
true.
For sure.
You're exiled from the spoiler section. The Aaron Tatership from here on out.
Yeah, so bring them on. That's it.
Wait. Forums. You can also still discuss this on forums.baldmove.com. Again, we're coming back next week, but just want to let you know Mad Men starts up this week.
Yep.
If that floats your boat. Game of Thrones starts up next week. I think there's a lot of common interest between The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones folks. Lots of action, ice zombies. What more do you want, people?
Yeah. And this week we're going to be talking about both of those shows. We're going to be releasing a couple of podcasts that kind of catch you up, say where we are currently in the stream time in those shows. So if you're wanting to get into them, now's a good time.
And you can keep up with our release schedule from here until we come back in October with Walking Dead on baldmove.com, on facebook.com/baldmove, and on Twitter @baldmove. This stuff gets pushed right to your feed, so that's pretty cool.
Force fed to you. That's it. We'll be back next Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Unless you're sticking around for spoilers. Until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron. See ya.
And we're back with the spoiler section.
Did you shut the spoiler gate behind you, Jim? I don't want any non-spoiler people to stumble their way in and run amok.
Whose job is that? I don't really know. I'm not paying very close attention to spoilers.
You're the last one through the spoiler gate.
That doesn't mean anything. You're the spoiler guard.
I'm the spoiler guard?
Yeah.
I'm the only spoiler from here on, like you said, from here on out.
I know.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Jeremy R. says John was interviewed by MTV. Oh, John, this is about John Hamm as Negan / Negan.
Okay.
John Hamm was recently interviewed by MTV and was asked whether he'd like to play Negan. He responded with, "Robert, call me. Come on. This would be big for The Walking Dead, and most important character in the latest issues being an actor such as Hamm. Those are some sweet, sweet biscuits." Yeah. So I read the whole interview, and he mentions a couple things. Like, he says that I can't say no to projects that I like or friends I admire, which is how he ends up doing weird cameos for 30 Rock and for Saturday Night Live and for all this other stuff you wouldn't think of him as doing, but he does. So I kind of feel like they could get him for this role. And I still think that Don Draper as Negan would be kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
As a straight-laced, kind of more uptight, ready to snap at a moment's notice Negan, yeah, but yeah.
John Hamm, if you have only seen Mad Men, you don't know how surprisingly versatile he is. From anything from comedy to different types of dramas, to Mercedes commercials.
I think he can play a volcanic temper, which is what you really need.
I certainly think he could. Yeah. So
imagine his face splattered with blood, Rick Grimes style. That would be fucking sick.
Yeah, it would. Even as just a fan of television in general and Mad Men, I would like to see that. Like, I don't know that he has to play a certain type of Negan to get me going.
You know, it would be hilarious. He finally gets an Emmy for portraying
Fuck.
Negan on The Walking Dead.
That'd be the biggest fuck you of all time. And man, that speech that he would deliver would be epic.
All right. I hope it's actually
Epic.
Negan from the comic books.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a string
Fuckity
of obscenities.
fuck.
There's a shit of there's a stream of shit you guys know nothing about.
Edwin C. says, it looks like your theory of Morgan being Jesus might have some merit to it, as some of his moves reminded me of Jesus, and he certainly seems to become holy with his whole outlook as or his whole life as precious view now. Man, I felt pretty damn smart for calling that, because it seems by the laws of narrative economy and by the affectations they're putting Morgan through that, yes, he is just going to be Paul Monroe slash Jesus.
Okay.
Because that's essentially what Jesus is. He's this very calm Zen dude that can kick ass at a moment's notice.
Who in the comics just looks like Jesus, but
Yeah.
so are they going to give him the name Jesus, since he kind of gets the name Jesus by looking like Jesus, right? From what you've told me, is that true?
You know what would be funny? Like, have you ever seen like the pictures of like Black Jesus?
No.
Like, you know, out in field service every once in a while I'd call on like usually it's an elderly Black woman.
Okay.
And she'd open the door and she'd be Christian and she'd be very nice and she'd offer me drinks and stuff. This is back when I was a Jehovah's Witness. And some of them would have pictures of it's Jesus, recognizable Jesus. He's got the kids are on him on his lap, or he's petting
Big
a donkey
beard,
or
long
something
hair
shit.
sort of deal?
No, he's a Black man as Jesus.
Oh,
Arguably a
okay,
more
that
accurate description.
That doesn't
than,
preclude the beard and the hair.
well, when you say the beard and the hair with Jesus, I think you're casting a certain like South Park looking Jesus with the long scraggly hair and the beard and all that stuff. The Renaissance Jesus.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So what I'm saying is I think it'd be a pretty interesting gag to have one of these houses have one of those Jesuses that just happens to look a lot like Lenny or shit. James, yeah. And then they start calling him Jesus as a joke that works completely independently from the comic book origins. I think that would be pretty interesting. Also, they don't have to call him Jesus. They can just call him Morgan.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Jesus is just a visual gag. It is nothing deeper about his character.
They can take the essence of that character without the Jesus name, without the Jesus look.
I mean, there is
make him
Jesus is a really good guy. Yeah.
Okay. You don't say.
He's kind of forgiving and big-hearted and like all the kind of things you'd like to see in a Jesus Christ. But I don't think that's necessary to making the character work.
But you can do that without making
Jesus
him
route,
look like Jesus too.
Sure.
So
yeah, but if they go to Black Jesus route, that would be kind of funny. I don't know if it'd be culturally insensitive. I hope not. But anyway, as for comic references, Edwin continues because he's kind of like, especially since I hadn't refreshed my memory, he's been kind of our lore master.
Yeah.
Nick's attack on Glenn. This is completely different in the comic. As Nick, I didn't even know Dickless was in the comics. He tries to rally the community into thinking that Rick and his group are evil and must be banished. He and Glenn have a fight, and Rick shows up and stops him. Nick pulls a gun on him, but Rick disarms him and lets him live. It's interesting that it was Glenn that let him live, as Nick devotes himself to Rick after he shows mercy on him. We see another simple remix of having Nick be like Glenn's right-hand man going forward.
Ooh. Is that how it works in the comics?
I mean, that's not how he's saying it works. I don't remember.
I
know the broad remix thrusts of the storyline, but like I've forgotten that or that Regina was Douglas's wife, and that she'd been the one to get mixed up. Like, some of this stuff gets remixed in my own damn head. Maybe that's Kirkman's problem. He hasn't read these things since he wrote them, so he's just basically playing telephone with his own memory.
Sure.
And that's how we get the remix,
like I do with seasons 1 through 4 of Mad Men.
What else we got here? Did you want to comment on the right-hand manness of?
No, I thought the
Dickless?
remix part was just how Glenn was the one who let Dickless live.
Well, that would mean that he would be personally loyal to Glenn and not Rick. The other thing I don't like about it is I just don't like Dickless. Again, don't like his face, don't like his features, don't like his eyes, don't like his actions, don't like his dialogue. He's just a sack of shit. I didn't know they could stack it that high. Anyway, mentions of Davidson. Aaron mentions to Daryl that the leader of the 3 men Deanna banished was Davidson. In the comics, Davidson was a man who helped Douglas establish Alexandria and make it safe until he and Douglas didn't see eye to eye anymore, and Douglas killed him. What do you think about that?
Douglas kills who?
This would be the Deanna version. Would kill this Davidson, not banish. And actually, how
does it all play out with? Is there a Pete in the comics? Is there a guy that Rick can kill to convince her? Like, how does that go?
That kind of goes. So that exactly happened as it is in the comics. I think he's about to get here. But yeah, Deanna does give Rick to go ahead and kill Pete. This happens exactly as it does in the comic, except Pete doesn't have a sword; he has a knife. I mean, other than Deanna being Douglas and Regina being Reg, this is exactly how it happens. And also, it didn't happen in like a town meeting. It was just like, I think Rick. It's kind of a blend of last scene with Rick and Pete, where Rick is kind of like goading him on, and it gets extreme, and then Regina steps in to kind of separate it, cool it down, and Pete ends up killing her, kind of accidentally, kind of in a fit of pique.
See, this is the trouble with remixes.
Yeah, it has unintended consequences.
It does. The collateral damage of these remixes causes you to not be able to do certain things in the plot that maybe you wanted to do.
Sure.
Maybe you didn't think about at the time that you were remixing it.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this yeah. No, it's
a dangerous game, and they seem to like to play it far too often.
For very
no
little.
Reason. Yeah.
Very I'm not, as a comic fan, surprised by any of this shit happening.
Sure.
And I think it's very vastly overstated
and
how
even
much
if you
these
were,
little
who
minor
gives a fuck about the small minority of comic book readers? Like, the 1,000 people who've read this comic to this point are going to be upset that you're doing the same thing.
No, it's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, ask the people who've read A Song of Ice and Fire. See if they're disappointed by that series. They're not.
No.
They're not. They're fucking loving it.
In fact, they bitch at the smallest...
you change a word. You don't use somebody's name when you should have.
It's
and
pandemonium.
They go off the fucking handle.
But I see a lot of people in Reddit defending this stuff. They found it more interesting and be boring to watch. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's
Do you
not.
reread
You wouldn't
the
be
comics?
saying that if they had done it straight up.
No.
They wouldn't. They're saying that as a defense of the show.
Yeah. Now, there's someone, and I can't remember if I used the email, but there's someone that mentioned some remixes that actually work better. For example, Carol dies. And I want to get through all. If not, remind me and I'll bring that up. Let's see. I think we covered all of Edwin's comic moments. Oh, Pete's rant. After Carol leaves, Pete starts saying, "This isn't my house. This mirrors the strip" in the comic before he comes with Rick and kills Regina. So I guess it's just, plus, I guess we're supposed to understand that he was confined in Michonne's house. Did you get that?
No,
that's
I didn't.
How
but
we
that
got
makes more
access to this.
Okay.
That's kind of like the position works out, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And him saying this is my house is just so I guess that this isn't his house. Hell, I don't know. Could have remixed that one, Kirkman. Could have remixed that, and I wouldn't have minded.
I don't think you can have it both ways.
Chad from Iowa, birthplace of James Tiberius Kirk, said, "Carol, a dark thought just occurred to me. Around the fire, everyone is making a real, honest effort to speak their minds and be transparent about Rick. They want to be there. They want to be part of the community, part of the family. You could tell that all of them wanted to be honest about it. But Carol, she kept up the facade. I wonder how this will play out with the rest of the group. Do you think they will notice this? And how will the town react when they find out who she really is? The group may have to call her bluff soon. I don't think Carol will like this too much, and the fallout could be disastrous. What if Carol can't come to terms with the newfound trust of the group and the town and begins to resent them all for it? What if she becomes Negan? It could happen. Rick has given her reason to be angry with him by kicking her out of the group before, and when she sees him falling back to the same behavior that got him in trouble in Terminus, that may be the last straw. She may see all of them not being deserving of what they are, and will find new alliances to take what is needed to survive. I'd find this to be a heart-ripping scenario that would always make Carol a very personal anti-hero. And just think, we already know her history. No stupid governor backstory episodes required. Could she be the Anakin Skywalker of The Walking Dead? Honestly, if it went down like this, she'd be better than Anakin Skywalker.
I think that would be super cool. And if anybody in this group is more equipped to rain down destruction on someone
Sure.
than Rick, it's Carol.
Yeah, and her like leading the secret kind of cabal against him.
That would be cool.
I don't know that this is where it's going, but that is a really excellent theory, and I appreciate you sharing it with us, Chad. I love it. Love it to death. Okay, that's the last email. I wanted to circle back around to something we just put a pin in, which is the remixes that work. We talked about this before. You probably don't remember because you haven't read the comics, but Carol dies during the prison arc with this kind of like, she goes crazy after losing her husband, and she becomes attracted to the stability and the sense of family of Rick and Lori, and she proposes that Rick marry her. And, you know, kind of like, hey, it's a zombie apocalypse. There's no more rules, and we love each other, right? And Rick and Lori recoil in horror at the concept of, you know, this. And they reject her, and then there's a person who is keeping a zombie chained up in the prison for study, which, fine, fair enough.
And she goes and tries to love it, right?
She goes and tries to love it.
Or have it love her.
And it does. It loves her neck right out, or her nose off, as you would say.
Yes.
Loves her nose right off. And she dies, and it's kind of shocking, but it's kind of a waste of a potential character, where now we've got this very sympathetic, fragile, weak character that we've seen become strong and powerful and find her voice over this to where she's now like this awesome top tier character. I can't argue with that remix. That was a pretty good remix.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of others where they remixed, like maybe Shane living through season 2, but I don't know, that opens up the whole love triangle thing.
Yeah, I mean, season 2 wasn't exactly great.
No, it wasn't. And he was that love triangle with him and Lori and Rick that kept going was one of the big things. Not cutting Rick's arm off.
Probably a good idea.
Good idea, just because, you know, it really limits what he can do as a character, and it'd be a pain in the ass to CGI out all the time, or it looks really fucking weird when he's just doing the like tuck in the sleeve, like, look, I don't got an arm.
Sure,
that looks natural.
It looks kind of
long ass forearm.
It looked kind of weird with Merle, so
it did. You could tell that was a prosthetic built around his fist being in the end.
Yeah, it would be weird if the main character had that all the time.
You know, Andrea, I mean, I don't like what they did with Andrea and Dale, and I didn't like the remix of the kids. Like, they were the murder sequence. Like, there's just so much more that they've gotten wrong. But yeah, Carol, we wouldn't have Carol if it wasn't for the Kirkman remix. That's true. Kind of a support for the Kirkman remix.
Yeah, it's one among many that are kind of evidence.
Although honestly, yes, Carol is a really cool character, but honestly, watching Andrea become strong and Maggie become strong is just as interesting.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not like there weren't other strong female characters in Kirkman's work, and thank God he threw Carol in. But so I don't know. I would love to hear in the wrap up if you all have other ideas of how the remix has worked in our favor, because I got this impression that it's almost always at best pointless and neutral, but mostly harmful, and does real damage to the characters and to the plots that we actually care about.
Yeah.
So if you can think of some positive ones, I mean, I feel like we've covered the negative remixes fairly well in the podcast. If you can think of other positive ones, like Carol surviving and how that's impacted, Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon's a remix.
I mean, he's not even a remix though. He's just, like, I was going to say him, but he's just fabricated whole cloth.
He's not a remix. He's a new track.
Yeah.
Morgan is kind of, he has a similar arc. I know Morgan actually shows up at Alexander in the comics. He's not long for the world, and he's certainly no Jesus. So
it'll be different if they turn him into Jesus.
Yeah,
sure.
That might be a positive remix, because honestly, I don't really want a new character with a whole complex backstory. Like, I would like to find out more about how he arrived at who he is right now.
Absolutely.
Rather than seeing a skinny hippie Jesus looking guy kicking ass and doing parkour.
Sure.
All right, that's all I got. If you got some more spoiler stuff, send it in to watchingdead@baldmove.com or on our forums at forums.baldmove.com. Again, we'll be back for a all feedback and all speculation driven extravaganza next week.
Yep. Sounds good.
Until
See you guys
then.
then.